हेलो गाइस, वेलकम बैक टू गेट लाइफ एंड मोर। तो मैं आज फिर से आपके सामने हाजिर हुआ और एक इम्पॉर्टेंट टॉपिक लेके। तो आज का टॉपिक है मेरा IOCL का इंटरव्यू एक्सपीरियंस और हाउ आई गॉट सिलेक्टेड इन IOCL। तो चलिए शुरू करते हैं आज का टॉपिक। तो मेरा जो इंटरव्यू हुआ था IOCL का, वो कोलकाता मार्केटिंग भवन में हुआ था और मैं फॉर्मल्स पहन के बिल्कुल रेडी होके गया था इंटरव्यू के दिन सुबह। तो मेरा जो इंटरव्यू था उसका एक्सपीरियंस मैं आपको बताने जा रहा हूँ कि क्या क्या क्वेश्चन मुझसे पूछे गए थे और IOCL का इंटरव्यू प्रिपरेशन करने के लिए आपको क्या क्या पढ़ने की ज़रूरत है। तो मेरा जो इंटरव्यू था उसमें एक 4 मेंबर वाला पैनल था। ओके, सो दे फर्स्ट आस्क्ड मी टेल अस समथिंग अबाउट योरसेल्फ। तो मैंने उनको बताया अपने बारे में। तो उसके बाद आफ्टर अ ब्रीफ इंट्रोडक्शन दे आस्क्ड मी हैव यू हर्ड अबाउट फ्राइडे ड्रेसिंग, विच मीन्स कल से अगर वीकेंड है तो मैं कुछ भी पहन के आ सकता हूँ ऑफिस में। ये कल्चर, डू यू सपोर्ट इट और नॉट? तो दिस वॉज एन HR क्वेश्चन एंड माई एंटायर इंटरव्यू वॉज अ मिक्स ऑफ HR एंड टेक्निकल क्वेश्चंस। तो ये जो क्वेश्चन था इसका रिप्लाई मैंने दिया कि नो, आई डोंट सपोर्ट फ्राइडे ड्रेसिंग बिकॉज देयर मस्ट बी सम डिसिप्लिन इन एन ऑर्गेनाइजेशन। तो अगर कोई काम पे आ रहा है तो उसको प्रॉपर फॉर्मल पहन के आना चाहिए, क्योंकि मुझे पता था कि ये जो गवर्नमेंट कल्चर है उसमें फॉर्मल ड्रेसिंग वाज कंसिडर्ड टू बी द राइट एटीट्यूड टुवर्ड्स वर्क। सो द नेक्स्ट क्वेश्चन वाज you had many female counterparts in your college, right? So IOCL offers 2 years leave with full salary to your female counterpart during pregnancy. अगर ये होता है तो आप क्या इसको सपोर्ट करेंगे? So this question was asked by a lady who was there in the panel. So I had to handle the question sensitively. तो मेरा जो आंसर था वो था कि हाँ, मैं इसको सपोर्ट करता हूँ because the physical and mental pain that a woman has to go through during that period is much more okay than a man can understand. So the next question was, isn't it injustice to the males? So shouldn't they also be given leaves for child care? तो मैंने कहा कि नहीं, ये इनजस्टिस नहीं है, क्योंकि जो मदर होती है उसको बहुत ज़्यादा पेन एंड्योर करना पड़ता है ड्यूरिंग प्रेगनेंसी। सो येस, मेन मस्ट ऑल्सो बी गिवन लीव्स फॉर चाइल्ड केयर, बट इट मस्ट बी लेस इन ड्यूरेशन कम्पेयर टू द फीमेल काउंटर पार्ट। तो उसके बाद जो क्वेश्चन था कि हमारा काम है तेल बेचना, 10 to 12% ऑफ द ऑर्गेनाइजेशन इज़ फीमेल in IOCL. So if we continue to give young girls leaves like this, won't it affect our business? So I told them that some of the work can also be done from home. So if the leave is for an elongated duration, it should be in hybrid mode, like they have to come to office 2 times a week and the rest of the work can be done from home. So they can be shifted to a hybrid model during that period and then again given field work. Okay, so the next question was name of the president of the country. I replied Draupadi Murmu, ma'am. So what was your special paper in college? So now from the HR questions they gradually moved to the technical part. So I said my specialization was machines. So the next question was, let us begin with machines and what kind of machine do we use in traction and why? तो इसका आंसर तो काफ़ी सिंपल है, क्योंकि ये सब जगह जिन्होंने मशीन्स पढ़ा है उनको पता ही है कि DC मशीन यूज़ होता है बिकॉज ऑफ इजी स्पीड रेगुलेशन। तो द नेक्स्ट क्वेश्चन वाज व्हाई डू वी स्पेसिफिकली यूज़ DC सीरीज़ मोटर? तो DC सीरीज़ मोटर हम तभी यूज़ करते हैं जब हमें लार्ज स्टार्टिंग टॉर्क चाहिए होता है, तो वो मैंने बताया। फिर द नेक्स्ट क्वेश्चन वाज व्हाट आर द टाइप्स ऑफ प्रोटेक्शन इन इंडक्शन मशीन? तो इंडक्शन मोटर जो होता है उसमें कौन कौन से टाइप का प्रोटेक्शन लगता है? तो ये इसका आंसर मैंने दिया कि ओवर करंट, ओवर वोल्टेज। तो इसका आंसर मैंने दिया कि ओवर करंट, ओवर वोल्टेज। ओके, सो द नेक्स्ट क्वेश्चन वाज हाउ विल यू प्रोटेक्ट एन इंडक्शन मोटर इफ वन फेज फ्यूज ब्लोज ऑफ? सो दे आस्क्ड मी हाउ विल यू प्रोटेक्ट एन इंडक्शन मोटर इफ वन फ्यूज फेज ब्लोज ऑफ। तो इसका आंसर मुझे उतना क्लैरिटी से पता नहीं था। आई थॉट कि अगर एक फेज़ का फ्यूज़ ब्लो हो जाता है तो द 3 फेज इंडक्शन मोटर विल बिहेव एज अ सिंगल फेज इंडक्शन मोटर। तो उनका पर्सपेक्टिव में उतना अच्छे से समझ नहीं पाया, सो आई कुड नॉट आंसर एनी मोर। So then they asked me, since I had worked at Tata Steel Jamshedpur before that, so they asked me that you are working in Tata Steel, which is a huge organization, everyone knows, and you won't be having transfers, okay, and a smooth life in Jamshedpur, because I was posted at Jamshedpur at that time. So then they asked, but in IOCL you may have very remote locations like Ladakh, Mundra in marketing. Then why do you want to come here? तो ये क्वेश्चन है, थोड़ा सोच समझ के जवाब देना है कि उन्होंने कहा कि व्हाट इज़ योर पर्पस टू ज्वाइन IOCL. तो मैंने कहा कि ये करियर प्रॉस्पेक्ट्स, ग्रोथ, और ये एक महारत्न PSU है विच डायरेक्टली सर्व्स द नेशन, बिकॉज एवरी सिंगल प्रोडक्ट दैट IOCL मेक्स इज़ यूज्ड बाय द पीपल ऑफ द कंट्री एंड इट इज़ हाईली पॉपुलर. बिकॉज आप जो घर में गैस यूज़ करते हैं इंडियन का, वो भी IOCL का ही प्रोडक्ट है. तो मोर ओवर टाटा स्टील हैज़ 2 new locations, I said, in Odisha. So those are also remote locations, so I may be transferred to those also, not only in JSR. Okay, so the next question was, if you get an offer from both IOCL and ONGC, which one would you join? As you know, we offer less basic than ONGC. तो ये क्वेश्चन मुझे पूछा गया क्योंकि वो मेरा रैंक देख के थोड़ा इम्प्रेस्ड थे, क्योंकि मेरा गेट का रैंक जो था वो देखने के बाद वो लोग थोड़े इम्प्रेस्ड हो गए थे. तो ये क्वेश्चन उन्होंने पूछा, तो मैंने बोला कि IOCL बिकॉज ऑफ द वर्क कल्चर एंड वर्क लाइफ बैलेंस, बिकॉज आई न्यू दैट इन ONGC you have to, especially the male candidates were given offshore oil rigs in core engineering fields, so it was a harsh work culture. So I thought this was the perfect answer. So next question, if you have a work which takes 24 hours from you and is hectic, then wouldn't you join IOCL? Because I was talking about IOCL's work culture and work-life balance, so now they counter questioned me on this. So I said, yes ma'am, then also I would choose IOCL because I want to serve my nation. So that was my answer. And what is the turns ratio of an isolation transformer and why? So my answer was 1:1, because we need isolation there from the high and low power circuits and not step up or step down any voltage. So the next question was, what is a snubber circuit? So this was a question from power electronics, a very basic question. So I answered that it is used in a thyristor to protect it from over voltage and over current. Okay, so the next question was, in a high voltage circuit, will you prefer a MOSFET or an IGBT? So this is also a basic power electronics question. So my answer was IGBT, because in high frequency circuits you prefer MOSFET, and in higher voltage cases you will prefer IGBT. So the next question was, in what range of frequency will you prefer a MOSFET? So I said that 1 megahertz and something like that, because I could not remember the exact frequency range at the time of the interview. So as far as I remembered, I answered. So the next question was, they asked about training at Tata Steel and what PPEs, that is personal protective equipments, we wore. So I answered accordingly that helmet, eyewear, mask, safety shoe, jackets and everything. So the next question was, who is the chairman of IOCL? Now they started asking about IOCL in order to know whether I am really or genuinely interested in joining IOCL. So I knew the answer, so I answered that chairman of IOCL was Shri SM Vaidya sir, Shrikant Madhav Vaidya. So the next question was, do you know about GST? Okay, so now there was another guy who was, I think, who was related to finance. So he asked questions regarding these. So I said frankly that I don't know in detail about this. So he moved to the next question. How does inflation affect the business of IOCL? So I said that I am not very much into finance, but as far as I know from my common sense, inflation increases the prices of the daily commodities, so the sale volume goes down and affects the revenue. So he corrected me by saying that the sales price is almost freezed as it is decided by the minister or government. So what is most affected is the raw material cost, which increases, and thus the net profit decreases. So he corrected me by giving the answer, but he was quite happy with my attitude in trying to answer the question. So the next question that was asked, that you don't have any problem with remote location. So I answered no, that I believe that in job there are hardships and I am mentally prepared. So The next question was again about IOCL. Tell us about some initiatives that IOCL has taken for green environment and fuel. So I already read about IOCL in detail. So I answered that IndiGreen, that was a product, and EV stations, green hydrogen production at Mathura and Panipat. And next question was, what is Buchholz relay? So Buchholz relay, it is used to detect incipient faults in a transformer. And then they moved to transformer, and again the technical part came back. So the purpose of breather and conservator. So the purpose of breather and conservator. Breather allows airflow from inside the transformer box and outside, and also ensures that it is moisture free during expansion and contraction of the oil inside. And the conservator allows for extra space for expansion of the oil due to heating inside the transformer. So the next question was, what kind of gel we use in the breather and the color before and after moisture. So this was a typical question. The gel used inside the breather is silica gel, and the color before absorbing moisture is blue, and it turns into pink after it absorbs moisture. So do we test the oil in transformer? What parameters we check for the oil? So this was a more practical question. So the answer to this was the color of the oil, the breakdown strength, sludge formation, etc., and it is replaced accordingly. So then the next question that they asked was another practical one. In this room, that is the interview room, all the lights and fans are AC equipments. What happens if we replace the AC source with DC? So I started thinking about the answer, that what will happen, and then the person who asked me this question, he hinted that resistance or the opposition offered to AC is the hint to this question. So I answered the reactance offered to DC will be 0, and so huge current will be there and thereby damage the equipments. So he was happy with the answer. And the next question was, what is an inverter? So they came back to power electronics. I replied that power electronic device to convert DC to AC. The next question was definition of a transformer. So I answered that a transformer is an electromagnetic device that transfers energy through a magnetic medium from one voltage level to another voltage level, without altering the frequency. So they also asked me whether a transformer is an electrical machine and why. So this is also a very typical question. The transformer is not an electrical machine because there are no rotating parts in the transformer, and it is an electromagnetic device only. And there is no relative motion between the windings of the transformer and the magnetic field, and moreover it also does not there is no electromechanical energy conversion going on in the transformer. So and this was all about my interview in IOCL, and these are the questions that they asked. And two more things that I would like to tell you, that there was a GD, that is a group discussion, and a group task in IOCL. So the group discussion was held by sitting around a table, and there was a topic that was given to us, like women should not be given authority positions in corporate section of any organization. State for or against the topic. तो ये जो टॉपिक है ये थोड़ा जनरल टॉपिक है, इसके बारे में 1 मिनट सोचने के लिए दिया जाता है, एंड देन यू हैव टू स्पीक 2 मिनट्स अबाउट द टॉपिक. And the next thing that was group task, or GT. So group task, in group task the topic that was given was health, defense, education, employment, industry and environment. These were different sections, and we have to create and allocate a budget by setting a priority order after discussion among yourselves. So in group task what happens is that you have to discuss with your peers, and finally the entire group has to come to a common conclusion. There is a common budget, that which sector must be given higher priority and why, and you have to explain it to the panel that must be sitting there. So the group task is special to this company, that is IOCL, because in other PSUs they do not have group task, they only have group discussion. But the group discussion, it is common to every PSU, and in group discussion you have to speak in English. I mean, English is preferred. So what you have to do is you have to prepare a topic okay, beforehand at home when you are practicing. You can just sit with yourself and speak in English and on any topic, any general topic for 2 minutes, so that you do not stutter when you are at the actual GD. Okay, so this was all about my experience with IOCL. And after 1 or 2 months, when the result of IOCL was declared, I was selected as an officer at IOCL. So now I am also currently working at IOCL, and so thank you. एंड दिस वॉज ऑल अबाउट माई इंटरव्यू एक्सपीरियंस. एंड आप बताते रहिएगा कमेंट सेक्शन में कि आप लोगों को कैसा लगा मेरा वीडियो, और ऑल्सो बताइएगा कि नेक्स्ट में क्या क्या वीडियो आपके लिए ला सकता हूँ. सो थैंक यू. एंड रिसेंटली IOCL का इंटरव्यू एक्सपीरियंस मैं इसलिए शेयर किया क्योंकि आई नो दैट IOCL हैज़ डिक्लेयर्ड इट्स इंटरव्यू डेट्स, और वो इसी महीने के एंड में भी होने वाला है. तो आई होप दिस वीडियो विल बी वेरी हेल्पफुल टू द एस्पिरेंट्स, एंड ऑल द बेस्ट फॉर योर इंटरव्यू. तो मिलते हैं नेक्स्ट वीडियो पे, एंड डोंट फॉरगेट टू लाइक, सब्सक्राइब एंड शेयर द चैनल.